P2B was honored to accept an invitation to speak at the African Development Conference at the Harvard Law School in Boston, USA, where he engaged with various African nationalities and discussed our current challenges and paths towards progress. P2B, during his thank you tour in appreciation to Nigerians in diaspora for their support for him during the 2023 presidential election, in one of his interviews where he was interacting with the Obidient, he was asked a question: if he is the leader of Labour Party. Let us now hear from His Excellency P2B as he replied the question.
We are glad to have you. We've been waiting, and a lot of people have been waiting to talk to you.
So I sincerely apologize. Today has been very, very bad for me. You know, I have an event, a speaking engagement in Harvard, but leaving from Newark to Boston, I missed my flight twice, you know, because of complications at the airport. So, you know, I missed my flight. First, I was at a different boarding gate. They didn't announce it, and I went from another boarding gate. By the time I could be able to change my ticket, I missed the second one. I missed the third one. So that took me, a program that was supposed to end by 2 just ended. But I was happy the students were able to wait, and I apologize to them for what happened. You know, thank you.
That's very good. We are glad that you're here. I don't know how much time you have with us, but let's start. I will ask you a few questions.
Okay.
This actually for my audience, my panelists and people who watch this show for more than a year, 18 months, I calculated it. They've been waiting for you to come on this program. So
No. I don't think it's up to that.
No,
Okay.
August 2022 on Adiola's show, you said you were coming. Yeah. So let's get to that. The first thing is this. A lot of people want to know whether you are the leader of the Labour Party. Are you the leader of the Labour Party?
Well, you know, for me, I don't see what I do in politics as being leader of any place or not. My position is that, just like I always say, I'm not desperate to be president of Nigeria. I'm desperate to see Nigeria work, because I know it can work. Same thing is what I'm desperate to see all the parties be the way parties should be, where things are done in an organized manner. For me, that is the most critical thing. Whoever, yes, you can call me leader of the Labour Party, because that's what the party said. But most importantly is to see things function in an organized manner. We have a more desperate situation. Parties are just a means to be able to contest election. What is important is that being a leader of a party does not reduce the price of food. What I want to see is that the average Nigerian lives in a society where things are moving properly, there's access to education, there's access to health, and there's a means of livelihood of the people.
Now, your supporters look at what's going on in the party, Labour Party, and they wonder, why is it that you don't exert yourself and get it into order? Because they see you as the leader of the party. That's why I asked whether you are the leader. You see yourself that way?
Well, quite frankly, they're wrong. I'm not in control of the party. And I don't think whatever is happening in the party is so minute to what is happening in the country. So for me, it's something that we will resolve, and resolve very amicably. And it's not anything to worry about. Let's worry about the country. Let's worry about how the average Nigerian will have a means of livelihood, be able to eat. That should be our worry.
Now, you've said several times that you are not desperate to be president of Nigeria, but you are desperate to see Nigeria work. And people wonder, and one of them is one of our panelists here. His name is Chim. You will meet him later. He said something like, if you are desperate to see Nigeria work, that you should be desperate and ready to actually die for Nigeria. Are you willing to die for Nigeria? I hear you say in different platforms that things you're going through after the election, what you're dealing with. Are you ready to die for Nigeria?
I'm sure that you haven't seen people do what I'm doing today. When I was campaigning, I was the only person who campaigned in every part of Nigeria. I was in southern Kanu, I was in southern Borno, I was in southern Gombe, I was in different places, I was in Newman, everywhere. I would do the same thing everywhere I go. So you could see where I campaigned in different areas of Nigeria that people never before campaigned. So I don't know what else people use to measure somebody who is committed to Nigeria.
You are committed and you are ready to risk your life for Nigeria. Is that?
I've probably have done more than that. And today, if I'm not committed, I won't be doing what I'm doing in opposition.
All right. Your party chairman, Aburek, was here on our show and we talked to him. We asked him several questions. One of them was, did he see the result as tabulated by Labour Party, your own party, your own result from your agents? He said, yeah, that you have it. And he promised to show us the result. We haven't received it. I wanted to know whether you saw the result and what was it like?
Quite frankly, if you ask me, somebody asked me something like that, but privately about a few days ago, I told him the last election is gone. And I don't want the highest court of the land, even when I don't agree with them, have put a finality to the last election. So let's look at the future. I don't want to be talking about last election. I want to be looking at the future. And that's why I said my desperation is to see Nigeria work.
Okay, let's look at the future. But before we do that, there's another question that people are raising, which is accounts about the finances, especially people that donated money to the party. Do we have the accounts? Is it public? Because people still don't seem to have seen it.
Well, the party account is not under my control. We've said we are going to appoint a external auditor, and that we have appointed. So if the external auditor comes up with their work tomorrow, any day they come out with it, we'll make it public. Monies were received by different groups and different places. And we have said people who receive money should account for it. You've seen one of the campaign accounts was managed by Asha Yusuf. She's come public, accounted for it. And that is at all levels, even support groups. We have asked them, if you know you collected funds from anybody, account for it. It's necessary. I'm going to go around to everywhere we've been, where we think people made donations, to say thank you. And if I receive their contribution, I'll let them know. If I didn't, I'll also let them know, so they will know who they gave it to and go and ask that question. And that must be, because if we are talking about accountability when we go into office, we should start by accounting for the small resources. But I can tell you, whatever we received was judiciously applied. That's why we achieved what we were able to achieve. But whatever it is, we need to account to those who supported us. It is critical, whether they supported us in material, in cash, or in anything, we need to account for it.
All right. There's an election coming in Edo State for governor, and you have a candidate from Labour Party. I have a question. What are you putting in place to make sure that what happened in the presidential election will not repeat itself? in Edo State?
Well, what are we going to put in place? We are not in charge of anything. The only thing we can do is to continue to say, let's do the right thing, advocacy, and ask people to mind their boots, their this and everything. We can't do more than that. We're not going to carry gun. We don't have access to gun. We don't have access to, we're not going to kill people because we want to serve the people. We're just going to do the right thing.
But is that all? Because some people were wondering, one of the things that didn't work out well in the last election was that you don't have agents everywhere. Labour Party didn't.
Well, we're going to have agents everywhere. We're actually supposed to have agents everywhere. It is a difficult thing. The last election, I said, is past. What it is that there's a lot of issues that made us to be in that situation. And it was just our first attempt. We're more organized in the future.
So you're assuring Nigerians that you will have agents in Edo everywhere, in all the polling units?
I believe so. Yes, we have no reason. In the last election, we even have agents everywhere in Edo.
Okay.
There's no one say where we do have agents.
Okay. All right. One more question from me before I let our people come in, because I don't know how much time you have for us. But the question is, if you were announced as a winner of the election last time and you were sworn in, you will have declared your assets for Nigerians to, and I believe people who know you, they believe that you would have made it public. Am I right?
Well, yes. Let me tell you, yes, it's mandatory for you to declare your assets. But where we are now, it's also necessary to do so public. Even if we have not been doing it in the past, things have changed. We now need to do things differently. And I believe we need to do things differently. Even when I tell people that when I was campaigning, that I'm not going to dwell so much on the past, even when I'm looking for fighting corruption and everything. We will be able maybe ask 1 or 2 questions about the past, but our focus would have been on today and tomorrow.
Now, people who know you, they say that you will have done it publicly and that, you will make other people working with you to do the same thing.
Yes.
Will you be able to tell us, Nigerians today, ballpark figure of what your assets look like?
No, I can't, because I'm not in office.
Yeah, I know you're not in office, but that would be a change. That would be something.
No. It's not necessary. All I tell people is that I'm not a poor man. And whatever I have is by his grace. Is God, And I've done one thing. I've challenged anybody to say, show me where I stole public money. I was governor for 8 years. And in 8 years, when I left office, everybody, including you, know that I left over $150 million and over 30 billion naira. What else do I need to say to prove that I'm not, say, a thief? Because no thief have seen what he can steal and keep it. People go into church and steal telephone because they came to church to worship. But because it's in their nature, it's part of them, and they do that. So the same thing, nobody asked me to save money. I was not under pressure. I was not under anything. I did it on my own.
Your critics, they say things like, when things are good, that you don't talk about it, you don't tweet about it, like the Naira. The Naira is gaining against the dollar and other currencies. That a Dangote refinery is about to start producing, or is producing, that, that things are looking up, that you only pick on bad stories out of Nigeria. What do you say to that?
I tweeted, we'll go and check when they inaugurated Dangote. I tweeted about it. Go and look at it. I tweeted about it and I said the implication. I don't need to be tweeting about it every day. On issue of the Naira, where was the rate before? Where did we get now? What is the implication? You, of course, you make comments on it when you look at what is happening. You see me make comments on the Naira and what people think it is this. I'll make comments on it. I don't tweet always when things are bad. My role is to say things the way they are.
Hello, Your Excellency. Thank you for being here today. Right. My question is, we witnessed all what happened in the last election, regrettably, and we're preparing for 2027. In view of the fact that we all saw the role of the INEC, of INEC rather, and the judiciary, nothing must have changed. So what's the assurance that is not even going to get worse in 2027? What is the Labour Party doing to prepare ourselves for these two agencies? Because obviously, clearly, the judiciary is has not done very well, and INEC as well.
Well, my take in it is that my guess is as good as your guess. We're doing everything possible to ensure it does not happen again. You're not entirely what I'll answer here. We're not going to shoot people. We're not going to kill anybody, but we're doing everything possible to ensure that it doesn't happen again. And I urge Nigerians to also get involved. Just like I tell the youth, it is about your future. We'll get involved in a civilized, civil manner to ensure that it does not happen again.
Governor, thank you so much for joining us. Before you leave, I want to say this. You always said, when you were a governor, you always said that that the society we abuse today will take its revenge on our children. Don't you think that you miscalculated? Because it appears as if the revenge is happening while we are still here.
No, it happened. But don't remember that when I said he's taking revenge on his children, it will be worse. Because all this money we are borrowing now, if you go and read it, most of the bonds we're issuing now are payable 1940, 1950, 1960, 2040, 2060. So we won't be there, my brother. There's no way I would want to be here by 1960 because I'll be about 100 years. So you could see why I'm saying it. Obasanjo left us with less than 10 trillion debts. We're over 100 today. And that's what I'm telling Victory. The people need to question what is happening. So the abuse is coming on, but it will be worse.